All right, this was a topic that you actually wanted to you brought up, Yuli. So
Yeah.
I'm very interested in hearing this. Should pros have to pay to be on tour?
So what I mean by this is, should we have to pay, like every year we have to pay entry fees, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also have to get you have to pay like $1,000 for all the other stuff that comes with being on tour. I think don't you have to pay $1,000 just to pay for your entry fees?
So I just did this. I have the numbers right here. Let's
I
see
did it
here.
as well, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I have the numbers, so I can pull it up. Okay, so for 2024, to get your tour card, to get event registrations for all the events, because I signed up for pretty much everything. And then I also signed up for an additional European event, which wasn't included. The total came out to be just under $6,000.
Yeah. So here's my point. In other sports, do you have to pay to get a PGA Tour card?
So you pay a locker room fee.
Yep.
So every
do you
event
pay to
you
get
go
in the
to,
tournament?
no.
Does anybody? Does your sponsor?
Now, you might have to pay to try to qualify. So I think the
But
qualifying,
if you get your tour card,
correct.
you don't pay.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken.
Sponsors aren't paying either. It's the same question is LeBron James paying to play in an NBA game?
Right.
No.
Right.
It's that same.
Yeah. We're getting to the point.
Lamar Jackson paying to play in the NFL? No.
We're getting to the point, I believe, where we should not have to pay if you go on tour, because
I disagree a little bit. I think you shouldn't have to pay if you have a tour card.
No, you should. Exactly. Yes, that's what I'm saying. If you get your tour card,
tour cards don't fill up entire tournaments, though.
No,
so there are going to be people that are in tournaments that don't have tour cards.
That. Exactly. I'm getting to that. Yeah. Yes. If you have a tour card, you shouldn't have to pay to play on the tour. I don't think.
Ideally, yes. 100%.
Ideally.
Yes.
And I know we're not to that point yet, but when do we get to that point?
That is the question, right?
Exactly. Because I get it right now. We got to pay to keep the tour going. It's not even close. I got it. Whatever.
We are still betting. At the end of the day, we're still going over to Jimmy's house at 5 o'clock. His mom's making pizza rolls. We all throw $5 in the pot, and we're playing winner take all. That we're still doing that, right? If you look at the breakdowns, and when people are like, and this is why I have my biggest issue with like equal payouts right now between MPO and FPO. Aside from the fact that MPO draws in way more viewers than FPO, and I'll have that argument to anyone. If anyone wants to say that, just literally look at the numbers. It is true. MPO brings more value to the tour than FPO does right now.
I want to keep on my thought though, because it doesn't stop with just should we.
Okay. To finish this though, the last thing I was just gonna say is if you took out the the entry fees to these tournaments, like the prizes, the prize money for these tournaments go down. So I mean, it's literally almost 50% at most of these tournaments.
So how much do you think for the whole year? Is it $500,000?
Well, let's think. Let's do the numbers. So what?
Let's say 85
No, it's got to be
people.
more than that. It's got to be more than that, right?
That's how many people have tour cards?
No. I'm saying, wait, are you saying how much? I'm saying how much money goes in to the tour based off event.
How much money do they have to come up with for it not to matter? And the tour people who earn their tour card.
Well, just to do a couple calculations real quick, right? So you have, let me pull my calculator out real quick. Where the flip is my calculator? Calculator. Okay. So you have roughly, I would say, what's like the average, like 275 is like the average entry fee cost, right?
Yeah.
Roughly around there.
Well, just put $6,000 for everybody. If all tour card holders do the whole tour, put $6,000, 85 people.
Okay, and just see what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna say not everyone has a tour card that plays.
But that's how many tour cards they get.
Yeah, so that's $510,000.
$510,000. Sure.
And then I would say you'd probably have to at least add an extra 250 to all the people that are signing up that don't have tour cards. Now they're not paying for the
Don't care about
tour card
them.
amenities. Oh, you don't care about those people.
Don't care.
Okay.
I care about the tour card people who earn their spot to be on the tour.
So if that was the case, if we switched to where we're like, hey, the only people playing in events are tour card holders. Well, they would have to make up more than that too. They would probably have to make up like $750,000.
Okay, let's say 750,000
for the payouts to remain the same.
Yep. And this is where it comes down to. My only point is, the question is, at what point does this happen? And it's sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
So who's getting our sponsorship from other places? And it's got to be so difficult to find somebody to get $500,000 to sponsor a tour, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a fantastic question. It really is.
That's all I'm wondering. At what point does it get tip, and all of a sudden tour means, like for example, I'm just gonna say this. I know I've talked to players this year who are having a hard time finding sponsors to pay for their entry fees, who have tour cards, which means they cannot afford to even go on tour.
Mm-hmm.
Getting on tour doesn't mean at all that even if you play good, you're going to make money. Even if you play good, you're going to make money. You're going to lose money probably.
It's the same as a lot of these individual sports, yes.
Exactly. But it should be an opportunity if you're the best in the world and you're giving up the rights that you give up to the media and to the tour because you're signing over your likeness. What's the value in that? Right now, I'm paying, for example, to sign over my likeness to the Pro Tour. Correct? I'm actually paying to do that.
Yes.
That's kind of crazy to me. To have an opportunity to make money, I'm going to sign over the rights of my likeness to the Pro Tour. Now, a new kid comes in and makes the tour. Can't even afford to play on the tour. He can't even afford to get in. The opportunity isn't there, and it's sad to me. And so what I'm proposing is there should be a push to get whatever sponsorship we need to get to make sure that we're giving everybody their equal opportunity to play on the tour, and for it to be like, I just can't imagine. Listen, imagine you paying somebody to give away your likeness, Brody, in something else.
You kind of, okay, so this is where it's like, it makes sense when the money is right? So if we were talking about one of the big four sports, it wouldn't even be a question.
Yep.
Because you're like, I'm getting so much in return. This is where it is a very interesting, very interesting conversation because let me
full disclosure for everybody listening, this is not a complaint. I am a forward thinker.
People are going to think you're complaining. For
sure. Well, there's always going to be that. I'm forward thinking. I want to get to this point, and how do we do it? Because if we get to this point, the sport's in a better place. So I want people to realize where I'm coming from, right? I don't want them to just say, "Oh, there goes Yuli wanting to play on country clubs every single day," and Mr. Privilege. No, that's not where I'm coming from. My thought process is always, how do we get to a better place? And if we get there, when we get there, the sport's going to be in a better place.
I love this conversation though, because it is such a thought-provoking one of where, where do we go?
It gets you going.
Because I don't even know, Yuli, if us like following golf's model, because golf right now is in a weird spot with LIV, right? So this idea of like, hey, because I've always said that, like, hey, we should just follow what golf is doing, but now golf is having some issues. So this is my thought. You've got several ways of going about it, right? Because we cannot compare ourselves. We cannot.
they're paying live players loads of money to play and to take their likeness, by the way.
Yeah.
Insane amounts of money.
It's also like it's not like, I mean, you're paying John Rahm $600 million or whatever to play in front of 400 people. It's not.
No.
It doesn't make any sense. They're willing to lose money. So that's not really a great example, but we're not going to look at the top 4 sports. We're not, right, because like those are team sports, a little bit different. So I like looking at kind of more of an individual sports. So those sports you got are golf, tennis, and then the other one that's kind of, here we go. The other one that's somewhat interesting is like is racing, NASCAR or Formula One. So we can go the route of like Formula One, of where like what if the tour, instead of having 120 person fields, like what if the tour was 20 people?
Yep.
Because at a certain point, the value of certain people on tour is zero. I hate to say it, but it is. Like there are certain people on tour that are playing that brings zero value to the tour. And
no,
like
they bring value. They bring an entry fee.
That's their only value. Yes. My example for this in golf is the 44th person on the money list from last year. He won $4,150,000 playing golf on the PGA Tour. His name, Chris Kirk. Is anyone showing up to a PGA Tour event that isn't related, married, or friends with Chris Kirk to watch Chris Kirk?
Yes. Yes.
What?
Absolutely.
What? No.
Yeah, because because he's probably playing with somebody else who's good.
No, that wasn't
you're
the
probably
question.
sitting on a hole and you're gambling on the guys coming in who's going to hit the green or not.
The question was,
I know, I'm being goofy.
Yeah. The question was more like if it's Wednesday and you're questioning whether or not you're going to buy tickets to go watch golf on Thursday. If Chris Kirk's tweets out, "Hey guys, can't play, I'm out." Is that changing that person? I'm not going anymore. What the heck?
I think so, because, for example, do you think Andrew Presnell brings people to watch him play? Do you think he has diehard fans that will want to go watch him?
Are we okay, I don't really want to do the name game because it is very sad. Like it is, I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I would say in certain areas,
because I think so.
I would say in certain areas, maybe. Is it a monumental number? No. And I mean, that's just the truth of what it is. Like if Andrew Presnell starts dominating and winning a bunch, then maybe it changes a little bit. But there's a lot. I mean, even myself, who I would consider probably has some of the most like paid attention to social media in the disc golf world. Like even some tournaments I go to, if I'm not in the top whatever, there's not that many people watching me.
Come on.
There's not that many people.
There's only a few groups out there that go out and they always have people following them. And you're one of those groups.
I know, but I'm saying is like even me being one of those groups, I still don't have a monumental number at certain tournaments of where you're like, hey, if Brody wasn't at this tournament, this would be bad. And I'm one of the upper echelon people. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think it would be bad. Over the course of a season, you're selling, I would have to say, minimum 100 tickets. And they need that money.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the number is, but my point is like someone with my social media, if I'm only moving that much, what is someone that's roughly around my skill level on tour that doesn't have nearly the social media I have? And that's where it becomes the question of like, how do you want to address disc golf? Do you want to address it to where, if this big sponsorship money came in, let's say, do you want to say like, hey, we're just going to have our tour be really freaking hard to play on. And every single week, you're going to see the best 30 players in the world show up to the course and play. Is that how disc golf should go? Or should it stay with the 120 people are in the field? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but it is fascinating to talk about and to speculate what should happen.
Yeah.
Because and this is where golf is causing a lot of issues, is you have a lot of these guys like Brendan. I'm just literally listing off people that made millions of dollars in the PGA Tour this year. Brendan Todd, Samus Power, Lee
See, I know
Hodges.
all these guys. I'm a diehard golf fan. I know all these guys.
You are a diehard golf fan, sure. But the diehard golf fan isn't what really brings in the money for golf.
But you take that one guy and you take him off that tour and put him in a smaller tournament, all kinds of people are going to go watch that one guy. But when you're putting him up against the best players on the planet on the PGA Tour, of course he's going to be lost in the shuffle. But he's still an important key part of the tour, because if you took him and you go, okay, now play over here in Rock Hill, South Carolina at this country club, you'd have a lot of people only come out to watch him.
I think that's certain people, Yuli. I think certain people like I don't remember exactly what Johnny Manziel did. Did he go play Canadian football?
He played in the XFL, I think. Is that what it was called? The XFL? Is the arena football?
Size, can you look up Johnny Manziel for me and see what his career path was? Because I think, Yuli, certain people, it makes sense. If you decided, hey, I'm not playing on the Disc Golf Pro Tour this year, I'm going to play on this smaller tour, I think you would be able to attract others to that. But if you have just like someone that's like a top 40 in the world, but doesn't have that big of a following, if they went, even though it would be like a huge thing to have that person playing there, I don't think it moves the needle, man. You see it in other sports of where great NBA players go and play in different markets. And maybe in that market, it increases viewership a little bit. But over here, we don't care, because it's like, if you're not in the NBA, like the casual person, which in sports, you should always be working towards the casual fan. Because the hardo fans are always going to be around no matter what. We're sickos, right? Like, no matter how bad a sport is, as far as like how they treat their fans, how the production is, we're sickos. We're going to be paying attention. It's the casual fan that you should be really trying to get. And that's where it's like, I don't think the casual fan cares if that happens.
Johnny Manziel, he played for the Cleveland Browns 2014 to 15, and then the Hamilton Tiger Cats 2018, which I believe is the CFL, Canadian Football League.
Okay.
Then to the Montreal Alouettes. And then
another Canadian football team.
And then this Memphis Express, some other like football league, like XFL or Arena, something like that. Yeah. And then FCF Zappers. So, yeah.
Oh, that's some weird thing that just happened with bomb memory. Okay. So that's my point, is like Johnny Manziel, potentially the biggest name ever to come out of college football. I think Tebow might be kind of close there, but like, Johnny football was one of the biggest things ever in college football. So someone like that, him going, I think he would be able to draw some people. But let's say you're the seventh picked quarterback out of the NFL, and you don't turn out to be anything your first 2 seasons in the NFL, and you go to like a Canadian football league. Are you getting random people to show up to watch you? Maybe a little bit in that market to begin with, but that's not making national news. That's not really moving the needle. And that's kind of my point, is like the needle movers in disc golf and people, this is not me talking about myself, but because I don't think I should be I don't think if they did decide to do a top 30, I don't think I should actually be in that top 30.
Same.
Based off of just, oh, you have a big social media. I think I need to earn that. My point is really for like the Simon Lizotte, the Eagle McMahon, the Paul Macbeth, the Ricky Calvin, these guys that are really freaking good at disc golf, but also have a big fan base. To me, those guys should be the ones that are reaping the most benefits at these tournaments.
Yep.
And getting paid more than the person that came in 47th place.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are gonna be like, well, the person that came in 47th place, they need that $300 to stay on tour. And it's like, Is that what's the best thing though? That's what I don't know. Is that what's best for disc golf moving forward, is trying to do stuff to keep the 47th best player on tour? I don't know. It's
Well,
tough,
it's got to
but
be
I
a
love
place.
this conversation.
It's got to be a place. The tour always has to be a place for opportunity for whoever it is. So you can't. I don't think you can put 30 people. It's got to be a place for.
But why can't you do that? Why can't you have another tour that's underneath it, and the bottom 3 guys every year from tour drop down, similar to what they do in soccer? They drop down, and then the top 3 guys on this other tour move up. So there's always opportunity to move up the ladder based off of your play.
Well, then you never have like storybook finishes like a Parker Welk, and there's
Yes, that goes away.
And that's like what we love about sports is we love seeing
Cinderella
those things.
stories.
Cinderella story. The guy who's like, who is that guy? And he's up there competing with Paul Macbeth, and he takes Calvin down the stretch and makes a full 50-footer on the last hole, and then just parks the island. I mean, that was a beautiful story and crazy. Nobody ever saw it coming. And to lose that,
I agree with you on that.
and to lose that would be just super tough. I think it needs to be a place where, this is all I'm saying. Right now, it's still a place of opportunity, but it's costing these kids money to go out and play on tour right now. It costs them a lot of money. And even if they play good, let's say they play pretty good and they cash at every single event, they're losing money.
I know, but this is where I kind of disagree a little bit with you on that, because this is what's causing right now the biggest conflict in the PGA Tour. Is you have these guys, middle of the road guys, that do not move the needle. If they show up to a tournament or do not show up to a tournament, it does not change attendance noticeable. You can't tell. And you have these guys fighting for rights that they really shouldn't have. Yeah. And my whole thing is my skill level where I am right now on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, if I just completely deleted all my social media, didn't post ever, didn't have this podcast, didn't do anything, my value to the Disc Golf Pro Tour would be almost zero. I would have an almost zero value. So anything that I got from the Disc Golf Pro Tour, I would be very happy. Anything that I did, but I shouldn't be demanding certain things. And that's where the PGA Tour is kind of at this conflict, is you have people that have been benefiting off of the Tiger, the Rory, Jordan Spieth. They've been benefiting off of these guys' popularity and these prize purses without really adding much to the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
See, I'm not talking about them getting money, Brody. I'm not talking about them not paying. I'm talking about not paying to have to be on tour. That's a minimum.
Yeah, no,
I completely agree with everything you
yeah.
say, but my original question is, at what point does the player not have to pay to be on tour? Because I really feel like it's already tough. Like on the PGA Tour, the opportunity is crazy because you make one cut and you make 40 grand. You make 150 grand, one cut. And that pays for your season, right? Mm-hmm. One cut pays for your season. One cut on the Disc Golf Pro Tour does nothing. It's $2,000. Let's say if you play amazing, you get $2 grand. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's not paying for your tour card, man. There's no opportunity there to pay for your opportunity. Really is to be able to be like, hey, I want to go to the Fly Mart and sell all my discs that I have. That's more opportunity.
This is the scale, because this is what disc golf does right now, of where they're like, hey, first place got 20% more money this year than last year. We're doing great things. And it's like, well, yeah, if first place got $1,000 last year and this year they got $1,200, no, saying yes, the first place prize went up 20% sounds a lot better than it went from $1,000 to $1,200 in a year. But if the prize was $1 million and it went up 20% to 1.2 million, now all of a sudden that's big. So it's all scale based, right? We're in the mode right now to where making a cut actually you could lose money. And I think a majority of people on tour lose money if they just make a cut, right? Unless you're living out of your van and like have your expenses super, super low.
But you still paid. You have to break even.
Money.
Let's say you play the whole tour. In order to break even, what's the minimum you would have to do? You'd probably have to average like 20th place.
Are we counting in though all the like hotels, Airbnb,
no, I'm just saying.
gas?
I'm just saying. Them saying. I'm saying this.
Just the $6,000 that I said.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm basing it off of this because I know we shouldn't have to pay. And I know that's not possible. And I'm not complaining about it. I'm saying, when do we get to the point where signing over your likeness means something? And you can piggyback off of the Paul Macbeths and stuff like other people do in other sports because that's the way that it works. Guess what? Patrick Mahomes makes everybody more money. That's the way sports works.
We can't be demanding. What I'm saying is
I'm not saying give me more salary, give me more of this. I'm saying let me have the opportunity to play for free in these tournaments. That's it, minimum. Just like every sport in the world. You get what I'm saying? Minimum.
Yeah.
Let me have my tour card. I earned it. I don't have to pay for my tour card. When do we get to that point?
All right, so I cranked the numbers. $6,000 divided by, I played about 23 events, but that sounds about right. Of like what $6,000 is going to get you is going to be about 20 to 25 events, something like that. That's $260 a tournament, and I'm looking here if I never made that little. The lowest I made was. Oh, well, I mean, I guess you would have to finish a decent amount at some of these tournaments. So I think I got made last cash at the Open at Austin, which was split with a bunch of people, I believe. And so I made $50. So I think
nice.
but I think like I have some like 30 place finishes at silver events where I made 365, 350 at another silver event for 39th place. The major 42nd at European Open was 457. So I think if you cash at every event, now granted, if there's no ties, right? If you cash at every event, I think you would make money if your only expenses were registration, entry fees.
No, but that's not my whole point. My whole entire point is, at what point does being on tour and having your tour card, you own a tour card, at what point do you not have to pay for that? Because like I said,
it's a how much money is coming into the sport question. That's definitely what it is.
Yes.
It's something that here's the thing. Your question is really good to keep in the back of your mind, because we don't want to get into a point of where it's like, hey, we shouldn't be paying for this anymore. Like the money is there. And we still are paying for it. And the Disc Golf Pro Tour is just moving money different spots.
Yes.
And because they're like, oh, well, they're still paying for it, so we can still move this $500,000 or $750,000 So your question is great for us to keep in mind because I don't think we're close to it now. I don't think we're
we're light years away, I feel like, right now.
But if we don't think about that at a certain point, like players could be paying when they shouldn't be, right? So it is a fantastic question, and hopefully a lot of discussion in the comments. I'm very interested to come back and read some of the comments on the YouTube video about that, because that is a fun topic to talk about. All right, we're gonna roll through. How are you doing on time, by the way?
I need to go ish. I got time, but I'm asking I'm supposed to go film here in a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to roll through. These aren't really discussion topics, so I'm going to roll through these, and then we'll do the Sporkle, and then you can bounce, and I'll answer the listener questions, and we should be good. All right. So
before we go, last thing. Do you think it is weird that we pay to give our likeness away?
We're paying.
You get what I'm saying?
So this is like what Kelsey almost went into a scam situation. It's not really a scam, but it is kind of a scam of where you pay you pay this agency to be your agent, and they're going to be like, oh, we're going to get you so many deals, like we're going to get you on commercials, we're going to get you a magazine. All you have to do is pay this money. You'll take these courses, get you all ready, and then you're going to start killing it. That's kind of what this is a little bit.
Yeah.
Of
no,
where
I get that. Yeah.
we're paying with
For
the
the opportunity.
idea that, like, yeah, if we have an Isaac Robinson
Yes.
season next
Yes.
year, now all of a sudden we can have a 6-figure contract with sponsors and all this other stuff,
100%.
and it's great.
It's worth it. It's worth
But
it.
it's
It
not,
really is.
but it's not guaranteed. Like, there's a lot of people going to that door thinking, I'm going to be the next big movie star. I'm going to be the next big thing.
Yep.
And they just paid $5,000 for nothing. So,
But that's my
there's
other
a little
point is
about
we've
that.
already made it. We've already made it to the
It's
top.
weird for the already made it people. Yes.
No, I mean the whole thing. If you get your tour card in our sport as we sit, you've made it. You're the best of the best.
Disagree.
You're the best of the best on the
Disagree.
planet. Are you not?
Yes, but even
No.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you say after this, it doesn't matter because where we are.
It does matter. No, it does matter because
because it goes to the
80th
original question. At what point does it
does
change?
matter. No, it does matter because the 80th person in the world in the NFL, the 80th best player in the NFL is not equivalent to the 80th best player in the PGA Tour. They're not. And then even more so, the 80th best player in the Disc Golf Pro Tour is not equivalent to the PGA Tour guy. Like, we're even farther down. So, like, there is.
At what point is it? That's my question. Of course, it's not right now. But as we sit,
I don't think the 80th person in the Disc Golf Pro Tour will ever bring value to the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Because they don't in the PGA Tour, and the PGA Tour is light years ahead. And we're a subset of golf. Like, it's very hard for me to ever think of a time where pickleball is bigger than tennis. Like, a subset sport, correct me if I'm wrong, has a subset sport ever overtaken the sport that it was created off of? That's a fascinating question. I
would have to say yes.
You think so?
Yeah. I'd have to say yes. Pickleball's got a pretty damn good chance, I'll tell you that much.
No, I don't think so.
It's blowing up, bro.
No, I don't think so at all.
No, it's not.
I think
even
what you're
close.
saying, like, is blowing up compared to like how big tennis is.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's ridiculous.
It's not even near.
No, there's a tennis court in every single park around it's everywhere.
I mean, how many people are tuning in to watch pickleball versus tuning in to watch
I completely
Wimbledon?
agree. No, I don't see that happening.
So that's my thing is, like, if you're a subset sport, if you're a sport that was created off of something else, it seems almost impossible in our lifetime, at least, for that sport to ever overtake. So that's what I was saying is, like, I don't see the 80th person.
No, but I don't think you even understand the question, Brody. Like, this is where it goes.
Boxing it?
Where is the place you have to get to?
We need more money, Yuli. We need a lot more money and a lot more people watching.
Where's the place you have to get to? You have to get to in our sport. What's the top of the top? It's the Pro Tour, period. So if you make it to the Pro Tour, and I'm saying get your tour card, you have to accomplish that for the next season. You've made it. You've done what you need to do.
You shouldn't have to pay to play in tournaments. I agree with you on that.
That's it.
That's the only thing that's the only thing that you get. I agree with you on that.
Yes, I don't think you get any privilege. You don't get anything, but you've earned
You don't get
the
guaranteed $200,000 that you're going to make. No, you don't get any of that. Correct.